Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 8 of Aurora Commonwealth of United Stars. Before we get into today's episode, if you guys want to leave a comment, like, subscribe, it really helps me out. This game's quite niche, and all the support you give really keeps me pushing to get more content out for those that do watch. Also, consider becoming a YouTube member. It helps a great deal. Any kind of financial support over just ad revenue is a big push as well. And you can do so in the join button on below the video. But let's get into the overview of what we've been doing in the last couple episodes. The last episode, the biggest revelation was the discovery of the Star Swarm. Located in 1359, they are approximately, let's have a look here, distance from our selected system. They are 12.3 billion kilometers away from civilized space, and we must figure out a way to ensure our defense against this threat. I've come up with a plan, and I've also come up with a plan to deal with the raiders and continue to expand that influence further out. If you also want to leave planet suggestions, planet name suggestions, commander name suggestions, do so in the comments below as well. I will be using those. I may not use all of them because we may not have the colonies and all the ships to be able to use them, but I will try as much as I possibly can. So if we have a look, at the current situation, we have the swarm here. Now they can expand outwards. My plan is we're going to colonize these 4 star systems as well as and cut off the access here. Okay. So we're going to cut the enemy off from the north of Beta Antilliae and hold that area for now. If we can get to Tau Ceti, we'll go into Tau Ceti and then set up defenses there. There are colonies here specifically that we can use to make good use of that. We can set up colonies with maintenance facilities and military garrisons, and we can hold them there. And then if we can just keep them locked out of any kind of civilized space, we can deal with them at a much later date. In terms of the raiders, I want to develop 2 different things. I want to develop a new class of destroyer to replace our existing destroyers, and then I want to develop more defenses in terms of buoys everywhere, mines, setting up orbital defense platforms, getting deep space defense stations, and more. So to do this, we're going to first off have a look at our current situation. So we are dealing with the wrecks right now. We're gonna wait. We need a salvage module to be able to clean these all up because they will attract enemy forces. We have a frigate squadron here. I want to get an ordnance transfer station moved over to San Martin so that we can begin to supply ordnance as needed. We also need maintenance supplies moved over as well. I currently believe that we're working on that. Yes, we are. So we need to move over ammunition. And to do that, we're going to need a cargo or ordnance transfer stations, and we need to get those shipped over. I don't believe I have any currently available freighters to do so. I have frigates available to go and do things, but I don't really think I have any freighters to go and do things. No, I don't. And our civilian population is busy currently mining out Basilisk. We did also do a geological survey, if I remember correctly, and yeah, we did. Looks like we didn't get anything of note. Now, in terms of other surveys that we could do, there are some here. There's also obviously Tau Ceti. So we're going to need to get our stabilization working as much as we can into that kind of area. So I'm going to order, let me go to Beta Antilliae. So we're stabilizing this, and once we stabilize this end, we're going to then border up over here. As part of that, I'm going to order as well, for security reasons, the 1st Destroyer Squadron to head to Ursae Minoris, and we're going to be launching ordnance in terms of buoys. So let me just grab my larger size 5 missile launchers. We're going to go for Delta 1, and then we're just going to take all of these older launchers off because we don't need them. And yeah, just do that, and then these will be assigned to fleet. We'll be launching these at the necessary jump point. So we're going to launch ready ordnance once we arrive there. Then we're going to move over, launch ready ordnance there. We're then going to transit launch ready ordnance at Ursa Minoris, and then we're going to launch ready ordnance at Epsilon Hirologi, and then 25 Ursa Minoris. We're going to launch ready ordnance there, and then Shrew 2398. We launched that at Epsilon Hirologi as well, and that should be good. Let me just make sure that I've got that correct. So you're going to transit through, launch that at Alpha Centauri, go to Epsilon Hirologi, launch that towards Ursa Majoris and Shrew 2398, and then you're going to go to Ursa Majoris or Minoris, or Shrew 2398, I guess, and launch that there, and then you're going to head back to Alpha Centauri, and you're going to refuel and resupply. Okay. So they will go and set up a bunch of buoys to detect anything that's going to be coming, that might be causing us issues. We just want to make sure that is obviously done as well. Now, the Artemis, what happened with you? Oh, yes, you came to relieve the Hephaestus, if I remember correctly. Let me just go into my galactic map, and if we go over to Ursa Minoris, so that's 25 Ursa Minoris, we've got Delta Buoy, Delta Buoy set up there, and then if we go into Epsilon Hirologi, we have buoys set up there as well, and looks like they've done all their orders correctly, so now we have full vision of anything that's going to be causing us any issues. We also were last episode, if I remember, building up our orbital defense monitors. We have a bunch of them. We'll need to get those moved around, of course, and I'm going to need to use a carrier for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and grab here. Once you are done overhauling yourself, which is going to take some time, you're significantly over your current limit, we will get you moving those platforms around. So, of course, that will take some time. How is the next set of freighters coming along here for us? Shipyard tasks. Freighters will be done on March this year, so just a little bit more to go here, and we'll be able to get those manufactured and on the way. There's 3 of them done, and these are the newer, more fuel-efficient variants that have a longer range and that will be able to keep up with the expansion of our empire. So we're going to build another 3 of them, and so those have been assigned to shipyard fleets. So we're going to order for them to begin moving around the necessary stuff. So I'm going to have detach these 2. I'm going to rename this to Freighter Squadron 2, 50 kiloton. And we're going to put this under the flotilla, and I'm going to have you begin moving ordnance transfer stations around. So you're going to load ordnance transfer station, take that over to Cygni, unload that onto the colony, and then head back to Alpha Centauri and refuel, and that's going to repeat 4 times for us. Thank you very much. In terms of colony, we are getting the infrastructure kind of sorted out over here. We also have Dortmund slowly growing, and obviously Basilisk is growing as well in terms of what it's producing. We are going to need some kind of freighter to deal with that, though. We do have this new shipyard, so what I want to do is I want to design a new class. It's going to have a cargo hold, a small cargo hold. It's going to be a conscript crew. We're going to put on the new 180 engine, which gives it a decent speed. Put on a cargo shuttle bay. And can we put on another one of the engines? No, we can't. This is going to be a very cheap, very efficient mineral freighter. So I'm going to rename this to Mineral Freighter. And the main purpose of this is going to be moving freight back and forth. I'm also going to make sure I put EM and thermal on. There we go. And we're going to build the Belisarius Mineral Freighters from this shipyard. So Mineral Freighter. And we're going to then add slipways accordingly, and we're going to order that up to be built immediately. And these will be moving, so they'll be moving the minerals from in-system minerals around, and then larger freighters, our normal freighters, will be moving those minerals across systems, of course. Now, if I have a look currently in Silesia, what's our defensive situation looking like? So this is the jump point, 61 Hydra, quite far away. In terms of defensive air operations from any from the system itself. So you might want to put a station on top of that. That's definitely something that I'm going to consider here, but we want to provide defense for Dortmund. Now, Dortmund doesn't have any ground forces currently on the planet, so I'm going to order the military transport squadron to begin moving over the necessary forces. So you're going to go over to Alpha Centauri, load up a garrison division, so that'll be the 3rd garrison division. We will load that up. We will take that over to Silesia, to those of Dortmund, unload them accordingly, and then go back to Alpha Centauri and refuel. Another thing that we noted is, because if you have a look at the Swarm, right, their ground unit classes that we saw, their ground unit classes had a armor value of 15. So that indicates that we are quite significantly out-teched in a lot of ways. So that is of obviously quite significant concern for our forces. We are going to hopefully be able to fight them more on a defensive footing than offensive, at least for a momentary period anyway. And that would be my overall goal, is not to fight them in open field. Speaking of, 3 more areas class will be done. We'll be assigning some of these to go and defend Silesia. That's for sure. That'll be like the primary job for them. Again, we're getting those automated mines up. Sphinx is doing good and Manticore's doing good. Research-wise, we are continuing our research across the board here. And how is our salvage module coming along? That's going to take quite a bit of time still. We just finished up commercial shipyard complexes. So what I'm going to order up now is some deep space tracking stations, because those are going to be quite useful to plaster pretty much everywhere. That's kind of what I want to do with that. And then we're also then going to probably build some more stations with the remainder. Okay, so we now have a jump point, the jump point into Beta Antillier. So we can now transit through. Now, Beta Antillier is pretty much empty, so we want to be very, very careful here. I'm going to order the 1st and 2nd destroyer squadrons to, first off, load ordnance up. You're then going to transit through to 61 Cygni, go to Beta Antillier, and you're going to sit on the Tau Ceti jump point, okay? So you're going to go to Beta Antillier, sit on the jump point. Okay, and we're going to begin stabilizing that side of the jump point up to Tau Ceti. And then we're going to make efforts to begin colonization there. So I'm going to go over to my jump stabilization station. We need to get our tug to go over to Beta Antillier and move the station over to Tau Ceti. I also would really love to be able to produce some more of these escort carriers. But we don't have the shipyard capacity at the moment, so we're going to again need to wait for larger shipyards. San Martin's got its supplies done. We do need to set that properly up again, I think. Yes, we do. So I want you to, every 90 days, which would be, what would that be, like 7,006? That would be, yeah, about 81 days. Every 81 days, you're going to transit, and you're going to then transfer maintenance supplies to the colony. Then you're going to head back to Alpha Centauri, and you're going to resupply and refuel. And you're going to cycle those move orders accordingly. That'll take you about 120 days per, which is about a 3-year cycle. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue for us there. The squadron completed, so we're going to then begin our stabilization efforts into Tau Ceti. Again, if I can secure that jump area first, I'd be much, much happier with the current situation, that is for sure. Squadron complete orders at jump point 1. Fantastic. So if we go to Beta Antillier now, we're currently sat here with our destroyer squadrons above, and we are stabilizing this jump point. I'm going to stay here until that's stabilized for now. I'm going to have our destroyer squadron actually enter. We're going to enter Tau Ceti and head towards the Wolf 359 jump point, if you can, please. So let's go to Tau Ceti. Okay, we're now on that jump point. We are safe, but we know what there is quite a far distance from Tower Ceti as well, so we're going to need a deep space station, but we can obviously station forces in system to intercept as needed. So part of my design to deal with the raiders is going to be a new class. So we're going to create a new destroyer, and we're going to just rename the class at the moment to DDX. We'll give it a proper name once we are able to build it up. But we're going to call it DDX for now, which is experimental destroyer, right? So there's a few things that I'm going to want. We need to be able to beat the enemy speed. So we need to be able to beat the forces raider speed going approximately, what was that? They're going approximately about 4,300 kilometers per second. So we need to be able to do that. We need longer endurance so that we can patrol areas of space. And we don't need as many weapon systems. So what I'm thinking is a design of and the frigates kind of do this design. But we're going to go for a larger ship, something that kind of redefine what a destroyer is. And come up with the necessary capabilities to do so. So what we're going to do is go for a design where, so right now, the Achilles class ship has 648 engine power. We're going to need about 1,000 engine power at 10,000 tons to be able to get about 5,000 meters per second. Now, we don't have ion engines yet, so that is obviously a concern. To achieve the desired effect, I want to put in, so let's go for 2 size 40 engines, right? With a 125 power boost. That gives us 4,000 tons dedicated. I'm going to prototype that design. This will reduce fuel, but if they're only patrolling known lanes, it's not too big of a problem for us. So prototype 2 of those engines on. We don't need much armor. So on these ships, we have 3 layers of armor, or 5 layers of armor. I'm going to put 3 layers of armor on. I'm going to give it a deployment time of 36 months. So they will be able to do rotations of 36 months or 3 years. We're going to make sure we put ECM on. We're going to make sure we put ECCM on as well. Then we're going to put in command and control capabilities. So we're going to put in auxiliary control. We're going to then put in weapon systems. Now, we know our opposing force, or our opposing enemy force, has an approximate range of about 140,000 kilometers. We have a max range with this kind of a laser of 300,000 kilometers. This would obviously give us a significant advantage in terms of dealing with enemy forces. So we're going to give this destroyer a 20 centimeter ultraviolet laser, and that will allow it to destroy opposing forces. We're also going to provide it with that reactor as well. We will need a big beam fire control, which is going to be an investment in terms of our research efforts. Right now, however, our longest range is about 192,000 kilometers, so that's the one that we will use. We will then put in missile systems as the secondary kind of systems. We could also do mines, but that's kind of the point for the mine layers. Buoys are fine, but these are going to be mainly for patrolling, though I would like some buoys as well, because that would allow us to kind of, in important shipping lanes, set up detection rings accordingly. So we're going to put in I think how many could you carry with that? I think 10 buoys with that. And how much range do one of our buoys have? So a Delta 1 buoy has a range of about 5 million kilometers in terms of its range. It's got an EM, it's got a thermal, and it's got an active, okay? I think like we need a new one, and we're going to probably go for a thermal engine. I think that's probably going to be more concisive. So we're going to go for a Delta 1A. Design this. Take out the EM, take out the thermal, or take out that, and then we're going to put in the thermal, which should give us approximately 10 million kilometers in terms of range, which is about double of what we want. Oh, that's the Alan Shepard one. I don't want that. Delta 1A buoy. Great design. So that'll be able to fit 10 of them in that capacity. So we're going to put in a small magazine of 150 tons. We're going to then fit a size 25. Oh, that's a big box launcher. Missile launcher, there we go. That'll be one missile launcher. Then we're going to fit in size 6 missiles. 25 missiles is probably good enough, I think. I would like that in sixes though. Let's try and bring that up to 32 missiles. Okay, 32 size 6 box launchers. Then we're gonna do maintenance. Yeah, that's about good enough. 2% IFR is kind of what I'm looking for here. This has no point defense on it, but we know that the enemy forces do not have any missile capability, and so we don't need to design for missile capability at all, really. So 32 launchers, then we can put in a missile fire control because we can use existing launchers here. So we're going to go for one of those. Let's go for 2 of them so they can fire at 2 different targets. Then we need to put in additional maintenance storage facilities. So I'm going to put in this. That gives us a 3-year maintenance life. Very nice. And then finally, with our remaining tonnage, we need to put in extra fuel. That gives us about 40 billion kilometer range. Though a little bit less than what I was after. So we're gonna go for about 30 billion kilometers, which gives it approximately a 50% range increase over the Achilles. And then we're going to give it some active sensors because it does need them. So let's use off-the-shelf parts for this. We're going to see the Res 10 sensor. So we're going to go for this Res 10 sensor. Then we're going to go for an EM and a thermal sensor. EM and thermal. They're a little bit too big. Give us small. We'll be using buoys mainly for this. So let's go for a 50-ton, and then let's go for another 50-tonner on the other side. For the thermal. There we go. A little bit more fuel. And then we'll add a little bit more engineering spaces to get the IFR back down under 2%, which I like to see. 36 months. Has a laser, has 32 launchers on it, has a buoy system. This is about perfect for what I would want for our patrolling, right? So, like, one of these vessels could theoretically take on, you know, an entire opposing enemy fleet, right? So, 5,000 kilometers per second, has an ultraviolet laser, so it can shoot things from range, stay out of their range and be able to shoot them. It has a size 32 VLS cells, which it can fire at an opposing force using its missile systems. Which, you know, if we're dealing with a larger threat or we need to bring these guys into, you know, deal with bigger enemies, then that will obviously be extremely useful. So we're just gonna have 32 Alpha 1 ASHM-Fs, and so this will be a 10,000-ton destroyer. We have 12,000 tons in terms of capacities across the line here. What I'm going to do actually is we're not going to need any new survey vessels for a long time, I think. So I'm going to retool this. This will be what we'll be using. So actually we have 12,000 tons in terms of capacity, but I think 10,000 tons is more than enough. So the primary role for this ship will be kind of patrolling, and I'll give you an example here. So the point of the ship will be to patrol between, let's say, these 2 points. So we have a station here, we have a station here, and they'll be patrolling in between, and we'll be deploying buoys along the line, okay? So if we go to 61 Cygni, the primary job may be patrolling this lane of highways, right? Between the Alpha Centauri area and then this, or to patrol the Silesia access point, okay? One destroyer will be its purpose will be to kind of picket and hold areas to ensure safety, and it can last for a significantly longer time, which is really what I want when I'm dealing with, you know, much higher endurance opponents, in terms of the fact that they will stick around. And we only need a new engine for this, which is, you know, a much larger engine, so much less space for in terms of combat capabilities. So we're going to get rid of a prime propulsion guy, and we're going to put in this to be in research into that. I would like to take out some labs over here and make that somewhat of a priority. There we go. Okay, and let's continue incrementing along here. Overall, everything looking pretty good. I would like to get some stuff moved over. Now, San Martin, we are building that wilderness transportation over. I would love to get Dortmund up to the point where it would have maintenance facilities, because that'd be really, really good. But I don't have that just yet, so we're going to have to obviously wait a little bit. Belisari is built, so these are new freighters, which will be able to begin moving over stuff. So I'm going to send you to the first Belisarius. I'm going to send you over, and I'm going to call you Mineral Intersystem Mineral Transport Squadron. Transport 1, and then we're going to put this as Silesia. Okay, we're going to then ship them over to Silesia and go over to Dortmund. Of course, we are going to be needing, how do I say, we're going to be needing to actually get some fuel supplies over here, which again, we need more freighters. Then us losing those 8 freighters will really set us behind significantly, in my opinion. So that is, again, kind of really hampering our efforts just across the board here. So repairs when going out. Production of naval shipyards completed. I'm then going to order up another Barbarossa class station. They are expensive, but they're needed. But before I do that, actually, I am going to adjust the design of the station. So I'm going to copy the design, and I'm going to add in commercial magazines, which I forgot to do, so that we can reload from the station accordingly. So I'm going to put in probably, let's do 1,000 ammo points, and we're then going to put in a total of 166 Alpha 1 missiles. Let's estimate this, right? So 26 launchers, but let's say 32, right? So 32 times 5. 6, 192. So how many do we have? 166. So let's put in a couple more magazines. We also put in some mobile repair bays as well if we wanted to repair ships. That's another consideration, it's like a repair module that we could add to it. But no, I want my my magazines, please. So there we go, commercial. We'll have 2 more, and then that should allow us to add in a total of 200 fighter missiles, which is perfect. And we're going to rename this to the Mark II. We will need to also put on a ordnance transfer system. There we go. And that should then allow us to transfer all the needed stuff around. So we're going to then order up a Mark II to be built. Up the queue in that and get that produced, and that will take about 1.5 years to build. Three new freighters were built. Fantastic. We're going to get those working immediately. And then we're going to order up another 3 of them to be built as well here. So ideally speaking, I probably want, out of these, I probably want 10 of these. 10 to 12 of these. For defensive systems, picketing jump points, defending stations, defending harvesters, you know, that kind of stuff. There's going to be a lot of need for that. So definitely something to consider, right? We're also building this up. We'll hopefully have that done somewhat shortly. So that's great. Let's get this up to 20,000 tons for us, please. Nuclear gas core engine on the way here, and then those freighters were done. So we're going to be reorganizing those correctly. So we're going to go for 2 freighters. Rename this. This is going to be Freighter Squadron. Oh no. Freighter Squadron 3. 50 kilotons. Then we're going to put that into here, and then we're going to have you begin shipping a refueling station over to Silesia, over to Dortmund, and then head back to Alpha Centauri and refuel. Do we have a tanker that will be able to handle that, by the way? No, we don't. Okay, so I'm going to then order a tanker to be built. This is for shipping fuel over to Silesia. So that's done, and then we're going to create a new group. This will be for shipping infrastructure over to... yeah, this will be shipping infrastructure over to Tau Ceti kind of area. So Freighter, Squadron 5, Colton. But we don't have a need for that yet. So I'm going to do some short runs of infrastructure over to San Martin. There we go. I got those orders. On the bright side, at least it'll be a lot more fuel efficient. Gas core engine on Valiant, Shore Squadron 2. Oh, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay, we're going to detach the Valiant. I'm going to then take all the squadrons, head them back to Alpha Centauri, refuel, resupply, get overhaul. Take this over. So this is what if this happens to you, by the way, this is what you do, okay? So we can overhaul. We're going to grab our tug, which we actually kept in system. And we're going to have them... oh, no. Hopefully that ship can last. Tau Ceti, how long do I have on that? That'll take at least 370 days. A bit too long, isn't it? No, beta until A. We need to know. Just 77 days. Okay. I'm going to just deal with this. I'm going to use SM for this, I know, but I would have just took it, but this was definitely an oversight from me. So that's my bad. 1. Go absorb that, and then we'll grab it back. That's 3 areas built. And now we're out of fuel on these guys. Are you kidding me? Ah. God. This is another nightmare. Okay, done. And then take that back to South Centauri. We resupply. Hopefully you guys will be able to make it in time. I think you should be able to. Yeah, I should be able to. Or not. Wait. This is what we can actually just fix ourselves, though. Get me a tanker. Sure, Squadron 1. Join fleet. And then... Wait, I have 3 fighters in here? What the hell? Wow, that's big. I need those fighters, like, immediately. Those fighters need to be used. Refuel and fleet. I'm going to have to sort that out immediately, but I think that's where we'll leave the episode off there. A little bit of logistics issues we need to sort out in terms of infrastructure, but yeah, so in this episode, primarily sort out design, we continue to build up, we continue to kind of figure out in terms of our defensiveness, in terms of what we're going to do, and I'll see you guys in the next episode where we will be hopefully putting more of those plans into action. Please don't leave a comment, like and subscribe in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time.